What's up guys, it's Trevor with Embers Fireplaces. Today we're doing a video of one that you guys have requested actually more than I thought. And that's gonna be the difference between the Lynx Professional Series and the Lynx Sedona Series. What in the world is the difference between these two grills? A lot of product confusion out there. Let's get going on this video. Okay, so before we dive into the products themselves, we have to talk a little bit about the barbecue industry as a whole to really understand what's going on with multiple brands. Because it seems to confuse customers quite a bit, and that's why is there different brands within manufacturers? Because what it does is it creates a lot of product overlap, creates a lot of things that actually aren't that different about the grills, and it just makes it really, really confusing for homeowners when they're doing their research. It seems that with the American-made brands, they have multiple brands within brands, if that makes sense. So Lynx does that. They have the Professional Series and the Sedona Series, and they almost market them as totally different brands. RH Petersen is another brand that does that. So they have Fire Magic and AOG, or American Outdoor Grill, same thing. One's a luxury and one's a premium. Same with this. We have our luxury product and then a premium product. Fresco is another one that does it. Fresco and Artisian. And so I think what's happening is they have these mega luxury grills, and of course you need to capture more of the market share. So you have to make something a little bit more affordable, especially competing with some of the products overseas, like Blaze, Bull. Those are just a couple. Somerset is another one. Make great products at very, very good pricing. And so in order to compete with that, I think they do a lower level price point. But what we need to decide is just how different are these grills? If you're in the market for a very rock solid grill, is it worth the upgrade to go to the Professional Series, or should you stick with the more affordable Sedona Series? So let's get under the hood a little bit and talk about them. You can see we have one set up as a cart and one set up as a built-in. In both categories, you can order them either way. You can do them as a built-in gas grill or in a cart, and they both come in a ton of different sizes. So just for the sake of the cart, I'll always start there. Nothing fancy here. It's all solid stainless steel, you can tell. No soft close doors or anything. So, you know, I'm not overly in love with the cart, but like I say, I'm not mad about it either. It's just a rock solid heavy duty cart. And then we have our pull out drawer here. That's gonna catch all of our grease and everything like that. When you do the cart model, the side shelves are pretty basic. Again, just like the cart, I'm not overly excited with these side shelves. I mean, what do we got here? We got 10 inches. I mean, what are you gonna put on there? It's not really wide enough to do much with. Maybe put some tools or a spatula or something. So just a nice rock solid cart. Again, nothing fancy. But now let's get under the hood a little bit. You can see as I open the hood, this handle actually spins, which, believe it or not, is actually a lot more handy than you think. It's just nice that it just rotates in your hand. And then even with the Sedona, we have the spring assisted hood. So see that here? That's gonna give you a nice, I mean, how easy is this? Give it a try. Does it get any easier than that?
Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. Now, again, you might not think it's a big deal, but for the wives, sometimes that's an important feature. Okay, then we have our cooking grates. Again, solid 304 stainless. And very, very nice, very heavy duty. Again, nothing I'm overly excited about, but definitely rock solid. In comparison, while we have these cooking grates here, we'll get into the Professional Series in a minute, but I'm gonna get these cooking grates out. And let's do a side by side. So let's get a close up here. And I think on the Professional Series, we're getting slightly thicker cooking grates. Is that just me, or is that true?
You're right.
Yeah, I thought you might say that I'm right. Typically am, but yeah. A little bit, I mean, not a huge difference, but definitely some nice cooking grates. And then when we get into the burners, this is really the heart and soul of the grill. We'll talk about the burners in a minute. But depending on how you configure it, You can configure it several different ways. So the way we have this one set up is we have our regular burner and then an infrared sear station burner. This is the 30-inch grill. Me personally, I don't think I would order it this way unless I moved up to a 36. And the reason is your infrared station takes up half your grill in this situation. And we really want that real estate. So I would rather have 2 regular burners and then the infrared. But nonetheless, you can order it as just straight burners or an infrared combo if you want. You have this little divider in here. That's to sort of separate the zones in the heat. And you can see what I like about this infrared, it's definitely a beefy, big infrared burner. So it's gonna cover a lot of surface area. And then we have our ceramic briquettes. If you haven't heard me talk about these before, I sort of have a love-hate with them. Again, just to reiterate, what I like about them is they definitely do a good job at creating even heat distribution and getting rid of hot spots within the grill. But if you don't maintain them regularly, you're gonna get grease buildup on here and it's gonna create grease fires. So if you're using these, you're just gonna wanna make sure every once in a while you flip them over, burn off all the grease, so we have a nice clean surface when you grill. All right, now let's look at the burners themselves. So you can see we have a stainless steel welded firebox, and that definitely looks pretty solid to me. And then we have this U-shaped burner. So what's nice about this is we get a lot of high BTUs, solid stainless, and then our ceramic briquettes are gonna help protect this as well. So again, with this U-shape, we get a nice even sort of horseshoe of heat distribution within the grill. And then our igniters, let me turn these on so you can hear those. So it's just an electric igniter. Let's get a close up there. You can see it sparking. And that's how they ignite. And then we also have, of course, our ceramic infrared burner for our rotisserie kit. We have our warming shelf. And again, you can order this with or without a rotisserie kit. And of course, the idea behind it is if you order it stripped down, again, it's more budget friendly, but you're still getting an American-made grill. And then what I like most about this grill is the amount of vertical real estate we have in here. So our rotisserie kit is gonna sit up just under 7 inches. So that's important because then we have some real estate if we want something heavy or large on here without necessarily getting rid of our cooking grates. So that's the Sedona series, rock solid grill. Now let's move on to the professional series and see what we like about that. Okay, so this is the professional series. I've already done a review on this if you want to watch the full in-depth review. But on the surface, you know, it basically has the same front end, the same control panels. It's looking largely the same. But as we dig into this grill, you actually see there's a good chunk of differences. So let's start. We already showed you the cooking grates. You can see how those are different. One thing we didn't mention is the lighting. So both grills have interior and exterior lighting. You're not gonna be able to tell in our bright showroom, but the Sedona has a single light in the center, whereas the professional series has 2 in the grill. That's probably not gonna make a huge difference in your grill selection as if you get 2 lights over 1. Ooh, that's cool. Anyways, it's there. You get a second light if you need it. The hood, again, is largely the same. We still have this rotating handle. This is the 36-inch, by the way. We have that rotating handle, and then we have our spring-assisted hood. Again, our springs are here. Now, I'm telling you, just sticking to the outside of the grill, I can see one major difference right now, and it's a small thing, but could be a big thing. See this ridge right here? You see this? Now, if you look at our Sedona grill, it doesn't have that. Let's look under the hood of the Sedona. So again, this just goes straight back. Now, what do you think that's for? If you had to guess, what would you guess that's for, Elijah?
Wind.
Wind? Mm-hmm. You've been watching my videos, haven't you? I thought I was gonna trick you, but you knew. Yeah, so this is essentially for wind. So if you're not in a high wind area or your grill's not in an area, let's say it's barricaded or blocked because it's in a covered patio or something like that, not gonna make a difference. But if it's going on a deck or something that's susceptible to high winds, that could definitely come into play. So it's a tiny, tiny little feature, but it does make a big difference. Okay, now again, we're gonna focus on a small feature here, but do you notice how our warming rack is sitting? So they give us these cool little brackets here. Isn't that pretty slick, huh? Now, if you're like me, 99% of the time, you're not using a warming rack because you don't have a million people over. There's just not stuff you need to keep them warm. So I never use this. So usually my warming rack, I toss it out of the grill, then I can never find it when I need it. This always just stays up out of the way, and then when you do need it, you just, boom, done. So again, not a couple stainless steel brackets is not gonna convince me to buy a more expensive grill, but you start adding a bunch of little features together, then we start to see a difference here. All right, let's go on to our rotisserie kit. So a couple things with our rotisserie. You can see our sidewalls are built differently. So on our Sedona, our sidewall goes straight down. On our professional series, it's gonna sort of leak all the way to the front of the grill. I don't know if it's gonna make a huge difference in temperature control, having these side panels go a little further, maybe a tad. But really what this is for is, it's one of the only rotisserie kits that I've seen that's adjustable. So we have it in a low setting now. So what does that mean? So if we take this rod out, we can move our whole rotisserie kit. Got it. So see here, we also have this side bracket installed. So that's gonna give us versatility on where to install this. And then we can put our rotisserie kit right there, and we can have it set up high. So of course the idea behind it is to get it closer to our rear rotisserie burner, and then again, gives us a lot more vertical real estate within the grill. Again, a minor setting, but definitely is the difference. And then our rotisserie motor itself is physically larger, and then also it's variable speed. It's one of the only ones I've seen that's variable speed. So we can turn it on high, so you can see it spinning. It's a little loud actually. Then we have medium, and then low. So you could go super low and slow if you wanted to. And then we have off. So it's actually a variable speed motor. Unlike the Sedona, it's gonna be single speed, so we have on off. So again, another cool small little feature that makes it pretty cool. Now let's get into our igniters. So let me move these cooking grates out of the way, because our igniters are also different. You know, I claim to know a lot about grills, but I actually don't know what this bracket is for. So if you're watching my videos, you guys got to tell me, because I don't know. All right, I'm getting distracted. Let's talk about our burners. So our other burners are electronic, and they're nice and they're very durable, but these have a hot surface ignition igniter. So if you're not familiar with what a hot surface igniter is, it's like the same technology that goes in a cigarette lighter in like a car. You know, you press it in, it gets hot. Same thing, so watch this. So let's find our main burner here. Actually, let me get a close up before I turn it on. So you see, I'm gonna press in my igniter. See that? Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And then when it gets hot enough, it will just ignite and we can turn it over to max. The advantage to this is it's just more durable long term. It's gonna have less problems. And you can see even our rotisserie burner, let's get it close up here. Let me shut the lights off so you can see it. See that? Oh yeah, that's pretty cool. So an entirely different ignition system in the grill. And again, not a big difference between the two. It's just gonna help with longevity. Now, there is an ace in the hole. Now I'm talking about, you're sitting there with pocket aces. The professional series has pocket aces. What are they? If you've noticed, as we've been doing this, these burners look very unusual. Do you know what these are, Elijah? What are these burners?
Kind of remind me of infrared.
They are infrared, but they're very unique. They're unique for a couple reasons. A couple things. They call these Tridents, so it almost looks like King Trident. You guys ever seen The Little Mermaid? You know, he's like carrying that trident around. Same thing. Exact same thing as in Little Mermaid. Is these little Trident burners. They look like Tridents, but essentially what they do is they're bars with spacing in between. And again, the idea is to not promote hot spots. So we have a grill that's all infrared with no hot spots anywhere. Now, what's the advantage to infrared? The idea of infrared is high heat so we can sear. So why would you want a whole grill infrared? That's the ace in the hole. They're the only infrared grill that I know of that can turn down to 300 degrees. Now I know some of you trolls out there are gonna blast me, and you're gonna find some obscure grill that has it too, and you're gonna say, I don't know what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna beat you to the punch. There may be something else out there, and I'm sure you'll let me know. But as far as I'm aware of, this is no infrared burner turns down lower than these. So we have the advantage of super, super high heat, and we can go down to 300 degrees. We did a cooking show before COVID, and Lynx came out and did one. And we literally had pineapple going low and slow here, slices of pineapple, and then we seared a tri-tip over here. And so it just really showed the versatility of this grill. Now, why do I say this is sort of the ace in the hole? Well, a couple of things. One of the most important features of any grill is gonna be your burners. These other small features are cool, but what are our burners doing? Because that's really the main functionality of the grill, and these burners are awesome. Now, you have to order it this way. Again, like the Sedona, we can order multiple combinations. So you can do their ceramic burners instead of the stainless steel, which is still an upgrade in the professional series. In my opinion, if you're gonna go to the professional series, there's no other way to order it. Order all Trident, because that's what makes this grill so cool. That's what's gonna make it unique to every other grill. Now again, why is that important? We talked about overlap, product saturation in the grill industry, way too many grills. I'm looking for something to pop and stand out, and that's gonna make a grill unique to that brand, something you can only get with them. Solid 304 stainless doesn't do it for me. You know, some of these cool other little tweaks, they're cool, but again, they're not doing it for me. The all Trident burners are awesome. Problem is, this grill is in the luxury category, so you're gonna spend a premium on it. So those are the differences between the grills. I may have missed some, but those are the main differences. Also, I wanted to show you this. This is a rotisserie basket that you can get for both grills. And it's just gonna go here, so we could do fries, veggies, wings. Super cool feature. If you're gonna order one accessory, this is my favorite one. I find it the most functional because now I can turn my rotisserie kit into something I'm actually gonna use, because I'm very rarely just throwing a full rotisserie chicken on there. So, super cool feature. Question of the day. Do you upgrade, or do you just get the Sedona? This is my take. The Sedona's a lovely grill. What do you need? Zane is ruining every video I do. Oh, Zane. Anyways, the Sedona is a lovely, lovely grill. I love it. It's rock solid. Nothing wrong with it. But there's also nothing in particular that's standing out to me. Now with the Sedona, you're definitely starting to creep into that luxury category. You're not full luxury, but you're definitely in a premium category. I would say if you're on a budget and buying an American-made grill is really important to you versus some of the other brands, then this is a rock solid grill that I have absolutely no complaints about. At the same time, nothing in particular is jumping out at me. Whereas the professional series, there's definitely features specifically with the burners that make this grill really pop. And you're definitely you're sort of rolling in the luxury category. So my take is if you're already looking at the Sedona, you're starting to creep into that luxury category. You're already at the BMW dealership, right? You're looking at the base grade 5 series, or you can get yourself an M7. You're already breaking the bank a little bit, in my opinion, make the jump. Both these grills are built so well that you're gonna have it for 15, 20 years easy. This isn't a grill that you're gonna get rid of in a couple years. So with that in mind, think about your long-term investment and get the grill you want, which you know you want the professional series. Admit it, that's what you want. But if you just can't swing it, there's certainly nothing wrong with the Sedona series. I'm actually gonna be doing a video comparing all of the budget models of the American-made grills if you want a comparison across the board of the 4 or 5 American-made budget-friendly grills. We'll be doing a separate video of that. But between these two, because of the burners, I would spring for the professional series, just my opinion. But certainly if you can't afford it, there's nothing wrong with Sedona series at all. I feel like I'm really repeating myself. What else is new? But if you go with the professional series, you're here. Like you're at the top of the grill market. Like this is like as luxury gets. A lot of people ask me about Viking grills too, which again, we'll be having a review of. They're also part of the Lynx family. They're made by the same factory. So if you're in the market for a Viking, take a look at the Lynx as well. We do carry both of them. Again, they're part of the same family. We'll have another video on that as well, but that's for another video, so we can't get into that today. If you have any questions, don't forget to call or text our staff. Check out all these products on our website. Make sure you call us, check availability, because obviously right now with demand being high with COVID, grills are hard to come by. So make sure you call us to check stock first. If you're in the Denver, Colorado area, anywhere in the state here, come down to our showroom. You can see these products firsthand for yourself. Stay tuned for more videos.